and we're in the online music space. To continue the theme about sales forces and getting out there and getting the sales, what are the key attributes for, let's say, the first few recruits into your sales force that you should look for? And I guess that's a question for everyone.
Well, if it's an early stage company, it's a very difficult process. If you're just starting this, selling your product, if top ranked salespeople are coin operated, they tend to be like they're looking for big ticket items to make commission on, and the best sales guys are generally not driven towards working with startups. They're not going to make any money there, so they have to first of all they have to kind of buy into the opportunity, have some equity on the because otherwise they're not worth the upside for them, and they have to be kind of pretty independent to be able to survive and be sales people as opposed to sales managers in the early stage.
So the single biggest attribute is that they are coin operators. They must be salespeople. It's a bonus if they happen to know the online music business, but the primary attribute is that they are salesmen.
I think for the very initial sales, you got to look in the mirror, because it's probably the founders of the company that, I don't know your business at all, but the very, very initial sales typically come through the founders, and then you can kind of bring on the kind of coin-operated guys. And once there's a proposition that's kind of pinned down and honed down, typically the founders, I think, in most of our companies are the initial sales.
I would agree with Jim, though, in respect there. You're far better off to get a good sales guy and teach him the business. Somebody who knows the business, you cannot teach sales. The top sales guys they're born, they're natural. You really don't teach them how to become salespeople. So that way around, look for a sales guy, teach him your business, and send him out there. But make him earn his money. Put him on a coin. Don't give him a salary for the full lot, because that doesn't work for them. They like the edge. A proper real sales guy will want that target edge. He'll want you to say to him, if I do that, you'll give me this, and he'll go for it. And if you've got a guy who wants that, then you know you've got a sales guy. If some guy's looking for too much cushion, it's not really in him.
And the other thing is, it's very hard to hire the right person, and so be prepared to recognize mistakes early. If you do hire the wrong person, it's bad enough in making the mistake of hiring a bad person, but the worst mistake is to not get rid of them quickly enough.
Sean. Hi, Sean Brady from VoIP Solutions. We're a high potential startup in the telco business. We've heard a lot of talk about smart money being referred to when looking at VCs. How does a startup like ourselves identify what is smart in a VC for our business? And if Jim,
See, these aren't smart at all. That's the problem. I missed the context. Who talked about smart money? What was the reference to smart money?
Well, it's a term I've heard before when looking at VCs. They said, well, we introduce smart money into.
So they're telling you about, as well as giving you money, all the other things they bring to the party. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Well, their money is the best thing that they bring to the party. Let's be clear about that. The best kind of money that you can get, I think, I have to say, to kind of veer off your question a little bit, is patient money. If you're an early stage company, that's the nature of the investment. It has to be patient. And I suppose, to the credit of the VCs and the institutions who invest, they are patient by and large. They understand the time it takes to grow a company. And there's, for some peculiar reason, there is, those guys who've heard me before now will be bored with all this, but for some peculiar reason, it takes about 9 or 10 years to get a company from a startup stage to a stage where it has realizable value in it. There's a whole lot of things that seem to take that time. Accumulating the experience, accumulating the staff that have the experience, making a team gel together, getting a customer base, getting enough money on board, etc. So it is about 9 or 10 years, typically, for some weird reason, and therefore the investment money has to be patient. So a downside, not of any VC that's in this room, of course, but a downside of some institutional money is that it is associated with a fund, and this can be overplayed, by the way, that has itself a timescale associated with it, which could bring an institutional investor to put pressure on a company to do something within a time scale that wouldn't be in the best interest of the company. Now, smart money wouldn't do that. Smart money would be an investment that supports the company. It invested in the company at the outset. So the success of the company should be paramount in the decisions that it makes about its investment.
Thank you, Jim. Dermot, would you like to...
It's about getting the money. So that's primarily no venture capital.
Is obviously increased in terms of its scope to, I think, whatever, 2 million and 150,000 per investor. So in some, I know of several fundings that have been BES type fundings. So I think it has its place. It's good for early stage investment, as long as it doesn't complicate your structure to, if you need to secure further investment. Generally, there are some people who have specific funds and some who just raise money for specific deals for BES. So I think it's fine. I think it has its place. Placements, it's a small company, stock market placement. Well, small companies in stock markets are generally, you know, it's a tough business. You know, it tends to be, it's illiquid. If you're a small company with, you know, very strong growth potential, and with a very good, strong CEO and a good team, you'll get attention in a good market. The current market is not a good market. So like the AIM and the IEX market, the AIM in London, the IEX market in Ireland are you know, are reasonable small markets, and they're good for certain companies. But I wouldn't recommend all small companies to go to stock. You still have to raise money from somebody to go onto the market. There isn't a magic answer. Somebody has to write the check, and you're looking to either private client investors or smaller company institutions to write that check. You still have to sell the story, you still have to do the roadshow, you still have to prove to people you can succeed. So it's a different medium for raising money, but the same rules apply.
One of the downsides about BES is that it's a tiny time of year, you know. It's when they're paying their tax bills, November, December. It's very seasonal.
That answers the question, John. Okay, folks, I'd just like to wrap up. I'd like to take this opportunity on your behalf to thank Sean, Jim, Don, Richard and Dermot for coming along here this evening. I'd like to convey the apologies of Conor Stanley from Stanley Developments, who called out sick earlier on and was unable to attend. I'd also like to thank Declan Bogan and Johnson Lee for coming along to present to us here this evening. I hope you found this evening of benefit, and that you will tell your friends, and you have noted that we are having another 5 sessions this year. But as I said earlier, the sustainability of this is dependent on us getting some sponsors and partners to work with us on it. So if anyone has any ideas, they might either talk to David or myself afterwards. Once again, thank you very much for coming along on this wet evening, and look forward to seeing you again. Bye for now.